Welcome to the PhD Journey Unplugged Podcast. My name is Dr. Sarah Gordon, and I am here today. I am joined with JD Tremblay. JD, did I say your last name correctly?
Tremblay. JD Tremblay, that's correct.
Tremblay. Okay, I just want to make
Yeah.
sure. As I said it, so, I thought I'm not sure if I've actually never said it out loud like that. Welcome to the show. We've been talking for, I think we first connected maybe 6 months ago. It was a while ago. And I'm really grateful that you're here today with me. I respect it and I value it and thank you for joining me and joining our audience this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So here's the funny thing before we get started. So if I believe you're in Malta right now.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And you just competed in the World Championship Xterra, correct?
Correct.
And one of the reasons I wanted to have you on my show is because I like to have guests who I like to call resilience warriors who push themselves to places that most people never dream of going or have the capability of going. So in the spirit of that, I am pushing myself outside my comfort zone as an introduction to this podcast episode. You ready?
Okay. All right.
Because you're from Canada. You speak French, right? Please tell me you do.
Right.
Otherwise, this isn't going to work. Okay, I've never spoken French in my life, but with a little help with
Okay.
ChatGPT, I got a translation. So here we go. I am pushing myself outside of my comfort zone in the spirit of you. Oh, goodness. Okay. Bonjour, JD. Bienvenue, sir, the PhD Journey Unplugged Podcast. There wasn't a French translation for my podcast show. Je suis très, I've practiced this one time, by the way. Je suis très honoré de vous recevoir aujourd'hui. Merci d'être ici pour partager votre parcours, votre résilience et votre philosophie sur la performance humaine et le dépassement de soi. Okay, let me tell you what I tried to say.
There you go. Yeah. So
Hello.
you're honored to have me, and I'm glad that I'm here to share about the discipline and the resilience. Yeah.
Hello, JD. Welcome to the PhD Journey Unplugged podcast. I am very honored to have you here today. Thank you for being here to share your journey, your resilience, and your philosophy on human performance and pushing beyond limits.
There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's what it's about, people. Pushing yourself outside your comfort zone and maybe not taking yourself so seriously sometimes too. I know that was rough, but anyhow. All right. Joking aside, it's a pleasure to have you here. I feel like people in the ultra endurance world, they know your name and they respect you. I'm going to just, before, more of a general audience, I'm going to go through some of your background. Okay. So JD grew up in the northern part of Quebec. He joined the military at age 17. He served in the military for over a decade. He has a degree in integrated engineering from the University of Western, specialized in biomedical. And I guess Western, is that in Canada?
Right. Yes. In London, Ontario.
Okay. He's a certified naturopathic practitioner, ultra triathlete and ultra endurance athlete, director of high performance and mental resilience at Hungry Warrior Academy. And we're going to talk about that on the show today, about how you help, I think, is it just men or men and women in terms of,
Correct. Yes.
excuse me?
Only men, correct? Yes, sorry.
Men.
Yes.
Okay. In terms of discipline, structure, and optimizing performance through a Christian teachings and Christian faith. One of the first reels that I actually saw was how you also help children around the world through philanthropy, and you were doing that work in the Congo. So, excuse me, laughing so hard. Sniffles. It's real and unplugged. Okay. We're gonna get to this a little bit towards the end of the show this morning, but JD is one of three people in the world who completed the Epic Deca. And for me to say it just like that, it doesn't even give it the depth that it needs. So I want to spend some time on that and what that means and explain that to people. Because there's so much behind just reading that on somebody's, bio or resume. So we will talk about that. And four-time Ultraman, the 70.3, just finished the Xterra World Championship in Malta. We'll talk about that a little bit, lessons learned. And you're a remarkable human being. And I think what defines you the most is your strong faith. And so we're going to talk about that too on today's episode. So, did I miss anything? You-
It's fine. Thank you, Sarah.
No, can I tell you honestly I am a little nervous because, I recognize your accomplishments, but what I have found with people at your level of athleticism and impact in the world is you're extremely humble and modest with what you do and very generous in helping other people and helping other people grow. And I think that's really the key about when you go through somebody's background and bio. And I do it just so that people understand, the caliber of person that you are. But I know at the end of the day, you're a very humble person, and I respect that.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah.
Okay, so let's start. Let's go back to the beginning. Who was JD as a kid? Where did it start? I mean, you're one of three people in the world who completed an Epic Deca, which is 10 Ironman distances in 10 days in 6 Hawaiian Islands, right? And you just finished the Xterra World Championship, and we will talk about how well you did there and whatnot. But I mean, where did all this start? Okay. Well, who was JD as a kid? Let's just start there. Let's start the journey back then.
Yeah, I would say that I had a lot of ambitions as a child. I really wanted to grow, and I saw myself as a highly successful person. That's how I envisioned my life, and all of those dreams were reinforced by my parents telling me the complete opposite that maybe some people would have, where some people say, well, you're not good at anything, or you are just good at that one thing. My parents were telling me you're good at everything. So I took that to heart, and I said, well, since I'm good at everything, I'm going to try everything. And so I went and played basketball, and I'm not a tall person by any standards, I would say. So I failed miserably. I'm not My morphology is not meant for a basketball player. Then I started playing volleyball. Now, was I good? Well, I was good, but there's a difference between good and excellent. The good is most people can get into any job and be good at it, which is the problem with right now with AI, that it's telling people they can be doctors because because they have ChatGPT in their pocket. You are not a doctor because you have ChatGPT in your pocket. You are not a lawyer because you have an AI in your pocket. But again, I saw myself as excellent, but my performance, and I had to detach both eventually. But as a child, I couldn't differentiate either. So what I did was, again, I was trying new different sports, and I was living as an image, so to speak. So I would be going into soccer, became very good, well, soccer, football, depending on if you're in Europe. But I went into soccer and I enjoyed the sport, became good, won a few medals with the teams, and then somewhat retired because I said, well, I'm bored of it. And many people would qualify it as an ADHD type, or they would automatically just self-diagnose themselves based on these performance. Now, I switched a lot from sport to sport, and the big problem was when my parents got divorced. I was 14 years old. My parents always said, well, we don't want any drama, but there's no divorce that is beautiful. So I um, I ended up being the only child who could choose between my dad and my mom. I went with my dad, so my mom resented me for it. And then when my dad couldn't handle the situation, sent me to my mom. I ended up somewhat in between. And at the age of 17 years old, my parents went to me and said, look, you're about to turn 18, or you're about to graduate, not even turn 18, you're about to graduate high school. So um, you are out of the house or you are paying rent. And I said, I'm not, there's no way I'm paying rent. I will do everything on my own. I recognized that it was an unhealthy environment, and I was being tossed around. And I said, I am gone now. That's it. So I joined the military at the age of 17 years old. Now, was I scared? I was at a point in my life where living was an option. I just wanted to survive, and that was it. I I thought at least I'm gonna die as a hero. That's the way I saw it. And God had different plans because, well, I'm out of the military, and I am doing very well. So I joined the military, and that's how it all started. Yeah.
That's that's perfect because my next question was actually, so thank you for that. What did the military teach you, about just, I guess let's just start with that. What lessons did you take from the military, the years you were in the military? And then I have a couple little follow-up questions there.
Yeah.
Like at
The
that point
main
in time, not,
Mhm.
and then what those lessons do you carry, I guess, now into
For
what you
sure.
do now?
Great question. I learned in the military that they will not give you discipline. A lot of civilians think that the military gives you discipline. What they give you is a structure, a system. And if you follow that system, if you follow the structure, then you acquire the discipline because you've been doing it daily for a certain amount of time. That's what I learned because there are a lot of people, and I understand it's on both sides. There are some people who are disciplined in the military, and there are some that are uh, they're undisciplined. It would be a conservative way of saying it. They are slobs, so to speak. they are they are not fit for the military. And right now in the Canadian military, there's a report that came out that over 28% of the Canadian military is obese. Now, we're not talking BMI and a little bit of overweight. We're talking individuals who are incapable of being deployed as a result of being obese. So they're incapable of doing their job. That their function is to be deployed. If you are in the military, there are some combat position, there are some desk job, but even if I take a desk job, I would be able to send that person into they always told us you are a soldier first. That's it. Or an airman or a Navy person, like that's, or a sailor. That the idea is that you can take someone, put them in a combat situation in any trade that is out there, but they're incapable of doing it. Which again, that's why I'm saying it. I'm expanding a bit, is to prove with statistics, and that there are some undisciplined people, because again, there's no way, with all the system and the structure that the military has, there's not a single reason why they should be this way. And so that's just to prove the point that that's what I learned in the military. That's the main point that I learned: structure versus discipline. A lot of civilians have this mindset, and I had this mindset when I came in the military. I thought, well, at least I will have some discipline when I join the military. And I saw a lot of undisciplined people, and I saw a lot of disciplined people, and I had to make my own decision based on my experiences and what I learned in my past. The one thing I can say, which correlates with the previous discussion about my childhood, is that my dad was stringent, extremely strict on Christianity. He told us, he set this framework, this structure, and he said, every Sunday we're going to church. Even if you don't understand what is happening right now, maybe later you will. And that set the foundation for my life, so that later on, when I am in trouble, even if I don't have my dad, even if I don't have the military, even if I don't have some form of special forces falling from the sky to save me, or some magic power, then I understand that there is a framework, there is a structure, and it's based in the Bible.
So. That's powerful. And it's interesting because my follow-up questions was, what did it teach you about discipline? And you just answered that. You didn't know I had that. And that's interesting. It gives you a structure, but not the discipline aspect comes from within. The structure, they provide a structure, right? It's a little bit more extrinsic to you.
Yeah, the Bible.
The structure is the structure.
The Bible is a structure.
Right. The discipline is what you choose internally to do with it.
Exactly. Yes. And then there are certain types of ways to reframe your mindset, which again, the Bible talks about, is to renew your mind. And one of those ways would be to look at the word discipline, to see what is the word discipline and how can you conquer it. The way I frame discipline in our Deca system is the first letter of the acronym Deca for our framework is discipline. And so the Dr. Jordan Peterson talks about it in his book, The 12 Rules of Life. He says, make your bed, which again creates that structure. However, this framework is for someone who is in complete agony or lack of self-discipline, lack of or depression, deep depression, a deep depressive state. That would be someone that needs to just make their bed, start at least the day with that. But for someone who wants, the way I frame it, which is a slight tweak to it, would be to pick something that you are good at. So everybody has some form of capacity that God gave them. And you can build discipline by doing something that you enjoy doing every single day. So for me, I would not even have to ask you. We don't know much of each other, but if I had to ask you to essentially just, what is my non-negotiable? What do you think is my non-negotiable? And you would not be too far off by saying, JD, it's something that has to do with fitness. But what people see it as is, well, I have to wake up at 4:00 in the morning, or I have to, no. Do something within that 24 hours, that is non-negotiable. And what you're doing is you are building that discipline. You're enjoying it also. So for example, some people, it's cooking. I had a client the other day, it turned out to be reading. So it has nothing to do with fitness. For that person, it was reading. And he just did not see it. But he was pushing reading because he said, this is not necessary. I'm growing over here and my business is going over here. And now I have multiple businesses. Why should I read? And I said, well, that's your non-negotiable. You're building discipline over here. And that discipline will trickle down to all the other parts of your life. You are meant to read. And if you are meant to read, then you will calm down. Mm-hmm. So for me, it just turned out to be fitness. So it's being fit, I understand. Should man know how to cook or clean? Or definitely, right? There's nothing wrong with it. However, it's when those tasks are forced on us. So it wasn't fun in the military when I was cleaning or when I was doing all of these tasks that I did not necessarily want to do. Well, no, not necessarily, but it is a structure. It is a system that they gave us. But if I pick something that is my non-negotiable, which is how people should frame discipline, you should look at what is your non-negotiable. If you know that, then you're going to do it every single day. Every single day, you're going to do that non-negotiable. And that's how some people recognize certain patterns in their life. And then they're able to have that discipline in other parts of their life. So it's not going to be overnight, but it happens. It happens that it goes to other parts naturally. And you're enjoying discipline. So it's not the word discipline, because a lot of people cringe as soon as you talk about discipline. They think guys that are able to run entire countries, or they're able to wake up at a certain time and they're able to set a clock and all of a sudden just follow that clock, and it's going to be about time and frame. No, it's about enjoying it. Like I'm enjoying it. I went for a run this morning. Did I enjoy it? I did. Am I still on the podcast and was I on time? Yes, I was. But that's because I did something. And over time, I built that discipline. And then it goes to other parts of my life where now I want to be disciplined in other parts of my life where I might not necessarily want to do certain tasks, but I get to incorporate them in my life as a result of building that discipline that I enjoy.
JD, you don't know that you just did this, but okay, I come from theoretical backgrounds, right? Getting this, my PhD in health and human performance, and it's all theory. And my dissertation was grounded in something called self-determination theory. And you just described it in practical terms, in real life, because the theory says when you find things in your life that you enjoy doing, you're more likely to stick with them long term, right? So we know physical activity. Find something you love to do. You'll stick with it.
Yeah, cooking, right? Like even cleaning. You like cleaning? Go ahead.
Do it. And what the theory tells us is that the more motivated we are to do things that we enjoy, then we are more intrinsically motivated. They come from within. They become what JD's saying, your non-negotiables. You start to take actions to have these things in your life. And then you start to live a more autonomous life. And what that shows you, if you move in that direction, most likely you'll live a more fulfilling life. And so that's the theory, self-determination theory. And the way you described it was beautiful, because you didn't know that you didn't even know that's probably what was, where I was coming with all. But that's it, people. That's it. That's when you talk about somebody's why, it's like, well, do it because you love it and you enjoy it. It might not always be easy. It can be very hard, but you can love your hard too. You can put yourself in a hard that you love. So that was it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for all of that wisdom, really. I always say when I have guests such as yourself on the show, like, go back and listen to this podcast a few times. Get your notebook out. Take notes if you're really searching to move your life forward. These are people that have the wisdom to teach us and take the time to come on the show to teach us. So with that, I'm going to read you something. I went on your, we're going to talk about it in a bit, Hungry Warrior Academy. I believe this is where I listened to it. You have a video up there, and I'm going to read this to you. And then I've actually never tried this, but I thought just the words were so powerful. I want to read them and then have you talk about what it actually means. And that'll lead us into Hungry Warrior Academy, okay? And we're going to spend some time talking about that. Okay. So and I transcribed it. These are your words.
Yep.
The moment you think that failure is overtaking you, it is often the closest point to success. I'm going to read that again because when I heard that, I thought, that's really profound. The moment you think that failure is overtaking you, it is often the closest point to success. It's in that moment of trial that God forces us to think, realign, and rise up stronger. Most failures are simply the walls we build in our minds. If we can muster the courage to take one more step, we will discover how wrong we were to limit ourselves. Emergencies, negativities, and fear will try to keep you stuck in worry and indecision. But the truth is, it is within these very challenges that we are forced to grow, to change our habits, and to think our way towards freedom. Every trial, every failure, every adversity carries within it the seed of an equivalent benefit. Remember, the men who achieve the most in life are those who faced and conquered the most difficult battles. Those are like such profound words. Really. And I mean, that first sentence, because I don't think most people think that way, JD. I think people are scared of failure, and we're going to talk about that too. The moment you think that failure is overtaking you, it is often the closest point to success. What does that all mean to you?
To me, that's because a lot of people, what they live in is that sympathetic versus parasympathetic system where they live in this life of survival. And when you live in a life of survival, or even in certain types of conditioning, like mindset to push you towards achievements, then it becomes that your failures are tied to the outcome.
Okay.
So, for example, me finishing that race, the Xterra World Championship, it's not tied to the outcome. My reaction is based on growth. So, will I have certain types of emotion versus feelings? I will definitely have certain types of emotions, and those emotions are tied to raw data. And then there are the feelings. The feelings are just there to help you understand that you lived an experience. What people do is they tie their emotions and their feelings, they intertwine them, and they don't even understand the concept that those are two completely separate. Emotions are different than feelings, completely different. And a lot of people are not even able to explain it, right? The idea here is that emotions are the automatic body reactions, and then feelings are how you perceive a certain situation. So, how you perceive a certain situation might differ based on any type of situation. And this is just an experience of life. That's it. For example, that's it. There's a certain type of, like, I'm happy, but it's something that is difficult for everybody to live. For me, I'm feeling happy, right? That's just the feeling. But then the emotion is the body reaction, which is completely different, because the body reaction, you can adapt it based on your situation. So if you're looking at it in terms of failure is attached to growth, what you're doing is it would be the difference between pursuing excellence and trying to outrun your um, your weakness or your inadequacy.
Hmm.
That's the way I could frame it.
Well, I was going to go into Hungry Warrior Academy, but let's stay here for a second because I'm titling this podcast episode "Failure as Fuel." Okay,
Yeah,
so most people avoid failure because maybe it hurts their identity. They put
there you
so
go.
much, so much emotion into it, or feelings. Maybe I'm not sure which
Yeah,
one
so
you
much
would say.
feelings. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I guess my question, I guess most of us misunderstand how valuable failure is. Because like you said, we can attach it to growth.
Yeah.
So as an ultra endurance athlete, um, how much of that has taught you about failure? Like, how did the two kind of go hand in hand there?
I learned that I could go to a different limit. No, I learned that I could get out of my comfort zone through the ultra endurance triathlons that I've done. I understood that I could push the limits. And then I just learned something else completely different when I started failing. So it's like someone that goes through a burnout. They're always telling people that they are weak in their mind because they've never gone through a burnout unless they go through it or they believe that person. Now, there are a lot of people that are faking it, and that's essentially probably why they are designed this way. But for a lot of them, they are just thinking that these people are weak because they have these form of mental disconnect. So for reframing it to the ultra endurance, when you are pursuing excellence and in terms of your failures is tied to your growth, then you would create a certain type of discipline, clarity, and also purpose because one would be framed in this way. And then the other one, if it's tied to the outcome, then it gives you anxiety. Then you get to compare yourself to others. And then you get this emotional chaos and storm inside of you, which again, the emotional is what you can measure. That's the way I can frame it. So your heart rate goes really, really high. Right? You meet someone you really love. Well, what's the type of emotion? Maybe it's love, and so your heart is racing. You have difficulty breathing. Well, again, those are emotions. So you can quantify these, which is a hard science. So those are the type of emotions that are reasonable to adjust based on a certain situation. And that's part of growth. So for me, I learned a lot through wins, but I also learned something completely different through failures. Now I understood all of the people that did not finish their race, and now I understood some people that finish last in a race, and I just viewed it this way. I still view it as growth, but I see fifth place as last. That's it. I just see and that's my personal standard. Like I want to reach excellence, and I just want to grow. So that's my standard. That's it. I just want to be at the highest level that I can achieve for myself. That's it.
So I'm going to say this because I think it's important. Okay. So when we were preparing for this podcast, so JD just raced in Malta at the World Championship Xterra, and he came fifth place in the world. And everybody around him is congratulating him. Wow, he came in fifth place. And in JD's mind, that missed the mark, right? His mind is first place in the world. Okay? It's a mindset of excellence. It's a hunger. And everything in your platform, hunger, the Hungry Warrior Academy, your book, which we're going to get into, Hunger for More, which I want to talk about a bit. It's having that hunger to go after these things, because in our minds we're like, you came in fifth place, JD. That's incredible. And and it was funny because I made a joke, because you're like, no, it's really not. It's really not where I want to be. And then I made a joke with you. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm really disappointed in you. Go back out there and get first. We joked about it, but it is a hunger. So tell me about that word, okay? Because it's in most of your platforms. What is it? It's got to be important. And where does it come from? And are you born with it? Can you cultivate it? Is that where the passion comes for it? The drive, the fuel?
So it would be the difference between being content and having hunger. Being content is enjoying. I am thankful that I am on this island, that I am not hurt, that I finished the race, that this is being content. And then there is the satisfaction, or this type of hunger, this type of desire inside. Now, the desire can be unhealthy and healthy, as any type of hunger might be. For example, greed. So I might turn negative on me. There are some athletes that are pushing themselves to their ultimate limit, to a point where they're facing illnesses or death because they hurt themselves, sometimes physically.
Mhm.
I did not finish first. So that's an unhealthy type of hunger. It would be like eating at a buffet and overeating every single day. There are some unhealthy behaviors, and then there are some healthy behaviors, such as understanding what your body is requiring at a certain type of buffet, being content that you are at a table that has all of that food, and that you will now make clear decisions, not based on feelings, but again, based on data, science, based on what happened, so that you can grow and outperform yourself for the next race, because the next race will bring some new, and I mean race as in the Bible calls it that it's the race, like life is a race. So I would say that a lot of people, because your question was about um, are people born with it? So people are designed, our entire systems are designed for survival. We're not meant to try to thrive at all. Uh, we're we're designed for survival. So certain types of reaction are just natural to some people, and then it would become the fight, flight, or freeze as type of situation, where some people in survival situation they fight, other people fly, like they go away, and then other people just freeze and or can't move. And what we have to learn is how to use these systems, how to regulate our energy so that we can function and be successful and thrive. So that's the learning part. Then if I tie it to the Bible, well, I have to look at it in terms of David and Goliath, and I won't go too far off with the into the life of David, but that's where the hunger mentality came in. Is that David was not a warrior. I know it sounds controversial because he was one of the greatest warrior in all of the Bible. But originally, he was a shepherd. So he was not born as a warrior. When he delivered the food to his brothers, who were the warriors? Well, the brothers. The brothers had the equipment, had the training to be warriors. They even had the titles of warriors. They were within a community of warriors. And yet, when Goliath faced the entire nation, who was hungry enough to say, yes, I'm going to be a hungry warrior versus a warrior? So there are people out there, they have all the knowledge, the education, all of the tools. I saw people with, there was one person, she had books, shelves. We're talking libraries, and she read every single one of them. But yet, when it came down to utilizing all of the knowledge that were in those books, or that are still in those books, to impart the knowledge and utilize it, some people are still in the survival mode, which is fight, flight, or freeze. So there are some people that will be courageous enough. These are the types of clients we want to work with. Do I want to work with someone who is obese? Yes. Do I want to work with somebody who has a severe mental illness? Yes. Do I want to work with somebody who is poor? Yes. Why? Because all of these are factors that can change. All of them are factors that can change. It's up to you if you have the desire. Are you hungry enough? And what I discovered in all aspect of my life, I've traveled to many countries. You mentioned some of my achievements, and I can tell you that there are people in the world right now who are talking a lot, and they are the type of people who go to a sport event, yell at the ref, or yell at the TV, and they would never pick up a stick to go and play with their kids. It's part of doing action. And we look at it. See, there are certain things I don't like, and I like about David Goggins. That's not the point. The point is, and I'll keep it very short and simple, David Goggins says in his book that he was obese. Not overweight, he was obese. Became a Navy SEAL. So that I like him, don't like him, that you like him, that you don't like, it doesn't matter. Facts are, he started there. He had the desire to be at that other level. Now, how did he achieve it? That's a complete other side of things. There are certain unhealthy behaviors that I would say are not conducive to his health or growth. That's a different discussion. However, based on what he did, he chose that and became hungry enough to be that warrior that the people are needing in this world right now. And we're not just talking about what's happening in the world. Remove all of the external stimuli that are happening in the world. And even if you would remove every stimuli that is happening in the world and live in a complete utopia, that somehow the Republicans could live with with the blue states. Even if you put both of them together and everybody lives in somewhat of a utopia, there are still people that would want to live an unhealthy, unsuccessful life and would still have some complaining to do. Those are not the types of people I want to work with. I want to associate myself with. I don't care how much money you want or think that you can give me. I don't want to even associate or work with these people. Why? Because we're designed to survive. Those people are in the survival mode. Those people are the little warriors that they might have all daddy's money. They might have the all the health, and they might have the entourage, the community that is supporting. They might have everything in their life and still be empty because they're not living up to their full potential. So it's not about the money. It's about taking your failures and taking them to another level. And that's why, to me, my favorite quote is, if your goals don't scare you, then set the bar higher. That's it. Just go to another level. I'm still content that I finished the race, but I'm not satisfied because I have this hunger mentality. Now I will adjust certain types of training regimen and the nutrition. I will adjust. That's it. I will become better. That's what the hungry mentality is.
Amen. That's the word that comes to mind. Amen.
Because you're hurting yourself. As a man, you are to lead. In the Bible, that's what it says. So if you are to lead as a man, what you're doing is you are hurting everybody around you by not being at your full potential. Every man needs to hear this. Every single man needs to hear this. You're hurting everybody around you by not being at your full potential. So JD is over here, I'm over here. Well, maybe you're over here in one sphere of life and JD is over here, and you have to know what is your capacity. What did God create you to be? We are all called to be different. I'm just called at a different platform, and that's it. Is it easier? No. You think the Xterra World Championship gave me any money? No. But do you know how much money I just spent to come here and do all these things? And exactly. But meanwhile, I could be back home, working as an engineer, making lots of money. But if God called me to be here and to encourage others and inspire others, then that's what I'm going to do. So am I sacrificing money to inspire others? I'm sacrificing everything to make sure that I'm doing what God is calling me to do, despite all of the consequences that the world says that I'm going to have. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that when I meet my wife, I'm going to be at my best. That when I meet these people that I want to inspire, I'm going to be at my best. And that's it. There are things that I don't know. I'm going to try to be my best. And that's it. I give my best to all my clients. I give my best in everything that I do. Why? Because I want to be at my full potential so that I can inspire others.
So I've been saving. Yes.
Yeah.
And I know, for one, I will go back and listen to this multiple times to learn from you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, really, for teaching us. Not everybody's got the hunger mentality, but if you do, and you don't feel settled and you feel like you want something more out of your life, listen to JD, right? We got one life. We got one shot at this, at least physical life, while we're here. Okay, so I've listened to some of the other podcast episodes that you were on, and I didn't want to put it right at the beginning. I wanted our audience to get to know you a little bit before we talk about it, okay? Because it's a remarkable achievement. And when I said it in the beginning and I listed it with everything, it needs time. And I want to give you some time now to just talk about what it taught you. JD is one of 3 people in the world that completed something called an Epic Deca. And you explained to us D, the discipline, in that word Deca, okay? The Epic Deca, just to make sure everybody understands what this is, because I've had guests on the show. We talk about the Ironman, right? The full distance Ironman, and how remarkable that accomplishment is for anybody, 1 Ironman, 2 Ironmans, half Ironman, a sprint triathlon, wherever you start in your life. Okay. That's the point. But for JD's done what's called an Epic Deca. Okay. This is 10 Ironman in 10 days on 6 Hawaiian Islands. Okay. It's limited to 10 athletes in the world. It was conceived to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Epic 5 Challenge. It was founded in 2010, the Epic 5, which was 5 Ironman distances on 5 Hawaiian Islands in 5 days. So JD and I guess 10 people, did 10 people show up that day?
10 people registered, 6 people showed up on the start line, and only 3 finished.
Only 3 finished. So I was intentional about when I wanted to talk about this, okay? Because I want people to understand the caliber of human being you are, and that it's just not it's a tremendous accomplishment. Okay, so what did you learn from it? What are you still learning from it? And wait, one more thing. Is this where you
Mhm.
got the nickname the alien?
It was after. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go for it.
Yeah, the alien was after, because after the Epic Deca, well, I did 2 Ironman to prepare for this 10 Ironman. And then I did those 10 all within the span of a month and a half. And then right after, I started doing a lot more triathlons. And I ended up at this race, part of this extreme challenge called Canada Man. And yeah, one of the guy was saying, wait, right now you have over 12 Ironman inside of your system. Your recovery is just outside of this world. You're still standing, still able to do all of these races, and somehow you're doing an extreme triathlon. He said, I trained for over 4 years just to be at that race, and I failed at many other races. And I said to him, I said, well, I'm not an alien. And that's where, again, the verse John 17:14 came in, is now I did not want to play into the word of being the alien, being outside of this world. I wanted to, again, prove to people that I am in this world. I just live under a different framework. That's it. My framework is that, well, am I built for ultra endurance events? Yes. Am I built for as an Olympian? No, I'm not. I'm not built as an Olympian. And even we're talking triathlon. So that's where the alien came in. I wanted to now prove to people that there's nothing special about JD, like at all whatsoever. I've accomplished these great feats. I would say Elon Musk has achieved way more than me. Right. So, and did he ever do a triathlon? Well, not to my knowledge. If he wants to learn about triathlon, I'm open to it. But uh, there's, if he wants to learn about health, or I'm open to it. But again, it's all based on capacity. So Elon Musk understood that he was good at coding, and then he went and did some coding, and that's how he grew, built PayPal, then PayPal to other companies, and then he started growing as a result of gaining some capital. So there's nothing. What I learned about is courage and stepping in faith, and definitely that this created a certain level of potential that I did not know I had. So we all have those limiting beliefs where we think that because of our past, because of our genetics, we're not meant to be in these types of situation. And truthfully, we block ourselves so much from achieving that full potential. God wants us to live a different life, and somehow we live in these fears, whatever they are, to block ourselves from getting that that joyful life. This So that's what I learned from the Epic Deca, is to be courageous. To me, I did not have the money, so I even went as far as selling my house to to pay for the Epic Deca. So I
Amazing.
did. Yeah, I went as far as doing this, because again, this was a sacrifice, but again, there are ways to understand if God is in it or not. That's what I did. I went as far as selling my house. So if I would have to say anything to anyone, is to take your faith quite seriously. And once you live in faith, then you're making bold moves that other people will think that it's outside of this world. But really, I don't think I am outside of this world. I just know that I am in this world. I just choose to live from a different structure and a different framework, and that I have different disabilities and I have certain advantages. I understand also. So I just choose to adjust what I have to do. That's what I learned from the Epic Deca.
Hmm. I always have to like wait a sec because I'm listening so intently and it's so impactful. So I have a question because my podcast, I tend to be more on the qualitative side of like interviewing and collaborating and talking, conversation, on the podcast. But I know to do an Epic Deca, there's a lot of quantitative, there's a lot of data, performance data and metrics. And that's really not what this episode's going to focus on today. But if somebody wants to reach out to you because they really want to understand it from the science perspective, from exercise physiology perspective. I've seen your social media. I know you've done cold plunging, and I've read about the importance of different things that you do to train at your level, right? And they want to get into more of that, the performance side of it, performance optimization. Can they reach out to you?
Yeah, yeah, we're online at hungrywarrioracademy.com.
Okay.
We're, I'm also on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I think there's a whole nother conversation about how you get to Epic Deca, besides what's in your heart and your faith and determination and the hunger for it all. There's a whole nother very important conversation about it that
Mhm.
people I believe would want to learn about. So okay. Okay. This has been amazing. Learned so much listening to you. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about Hungry Warrior Academy because I love the philanthropy. Well, Hungry Warrior Academy with what you're doing with men, and also what you're doing out in the world, as far as in parts of Africa, because I saw that you're um, teaching soccer to the youth there, and I'm not exactly sure. So I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about it and to invite people if they're interested to, to give back in the world, you know, to extend beyond ourselves.
Mhm. Yeah.
However you want to start
Hungry
that.
Warrior Academy has two facets where we are a nonprofit organization, and we offer online courses, online sessions. We have one starting very soon. It's with one of my good friend who served as a next. He's a Navy SEAL or an ex Navy SEAL, and he's going to again take men and again transform their mindset. And when you have a Navy SEAL in the same group chat as you, your mindset changes quite. It's either you execute or you leave the chat. That's pretty much what it is. We're here to provide results. Okay, we have a long track record. You can go look at it at hungrywarrioracademy.com, or even ask us about all of our clients can give you a testimonial about what we're doing. We're accomplishing some phenomenal results.
It's
So that's the
JD.
side of the company.
It's worldwide, correct?
That's for the business side of things.
Impact.
We also have our headquarter, which is in Nairobi, Kenya. So we have a team down there, and it's called the Hungry Warrior Academy Africa. So we are currently in 5 different countries. 2 of them are in Africa, and we provide for thousands of children opportunities that otherwise they would not have. And the comparison to any other organization that we have is that a lot of organization will give money which sometimes buys tools, such as food or even physical tools to build a certain outcome. But these tools and a lot of that money ends up in the wrong hands. There's a lot of corruption in the world. So what we give is we have a team that trains other people to provide a different mindset to these children. So these children are now able to face the world despite being in extreme poverty or being in difficult situation. We're talking about I don't have to paint you a picture or say these words, but I'm sure that anybody can read between the lines where some of these houses don't have locks and it's a single woman. So let's put
Yeah.
it this way, right? Or it's a group of children that just lost their parents. They're in a house, there's no lock on it. I'll let you read between the lines of what's happening in the world. And then all these organizations come in, they dump money, or you got these influencers, they come in, they make a nice video about it. It doesn't really help at all, or it helps in the moment, and then they leave, which I understand. I'm smiling, but that's because the reason why I'm smiling is because I understand that we are making a difference by providing a different mindset to these people now. And then we provide those tools and we also provide the money for these people to get out of these difficult situations. So, for example, when we have a group of kids that played cricket, it's in Nairobi, Kenya, and some scouts came to visit the grounds, and they noticed three of our girls, and they said, we want those girls to be part of the national team. And we really enjoyed it, so we said, okay, let's push for more training. And again, we gave them a different mindset. Now these girls are part of the national team, and in 2028, God willing, they'll be part of the Olympics. So they're going from the slums to the Olympics. So what I'm looking forward to is the movie coming out in 2028. We'll see how God leads, but again, it's not necessarily to achieve these goals, which a lot of people now are doing this problem here in the US or Canada. What they're doing is they're chasing these achievements, they're chasing these goals without having a solid root of values and system and structure. And if they don't have that in place, then it doesn't matter the type of goal that you want to achieve, it's going to falter at some point. So, yeah.
I saw a video, I think it was on Hungry Warrior Academy. You're helping build homes too.
Yes, where we gave away houses, we gave sports equipment, we gave a lot away, and but I'm putting emphasis on what we give as that is different than other organization, because we give a mindset that is different, which again, now they can thrive versus survive.
Right. You're giving them
an
both.
environment where it's extreme poverty. So
Yeah.
the goal is not to take them and bring them to another country and then expect that their values or their culture is going to erode or change. It's about taking them in the environment that they are without removing them, providing them with a different set of values, and then allowing them to grow. So that's the emphasis that I'm making.
More lasting impact.
I would say so. Yes, exactly. And it's not disruptive to some of their culture also,
I was just gonna
because
say that. Right.
yeah,
That's amazing. Really is. I say that with a lot of authenticity behind it. I've never had opportunities like that. And I said before we started to record today, like my worldview is so different than your worldview because you've been out in the world, you've seen, I in your book, you give examples of there's violence, there's a lot of hard stuff out in the world. Children have to see and go through, men, women. So anyhow, I love what you're doing in the world. I really do. I want to mention your book, Hunger for More. It talks about the Epic Deca in here. Again, it's just, there's so many good things in it. I highlighted some things, but I feel like I don't want to, no. But it's on Amazon. Actually, JD, you mailed this to me. You just jumped right in there and just you sent it to me, and you didn't even charge me, and just thank you for this. Really, I'm grateful for this. Okay.
Yeah, the goal is to provide as much value to people. We're doing very well as an organization. We want to work with the people that have the heart for success. There are people right now that are listening to this podcast or have listened to me somewhere else. Uh, and we want to work with the people that are ready to take action in their life that is going to be uncomfortable, but is going to lead them to some tremendous result. Is it difficult? Of course. It's difficult to live as JD or live with all of these achievements. What you end up with is even more haters. That's what you end up with. Even if it's just one more hater, you end up with more people knowing you. You end up with more haters. And so it is difficult, but is it a rewarding? Well, I want to live how God is teaching me how to live. And so, yes, we give to orphans. Yes, we give to widows. Yes, I try to live my life according to how the Bible is telling me to do so. And right now, we have some amazing results. The way we're different with our business is also we're not tied to feelings, we're tying it to science, logic, facts. That's how we're different. So we have our clientele. That's what we want to do. We want to be working with the people that are ready to take action and to succeed and to reach that full potential that they're after. Because it is out there, but there's a lot of people that are just missing that key ingredients. Well, they have it in there, it's just never been framed in the way that they probably experienced.
Hmm. You just led me to my closing question for you, which I think I kind of know the answer, but I'm going to give you the last word. Okay. I've learned so much. I feel like maybe I just pushed myself, worked out a little bit harder, my brain, which is good. So thank you for pushing me to think too and to learn and to grow. Grateful for this time. Okay. So can discipline save someone's life?
No, only Jesus. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
only Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, only Jesus. Yep, that's it. Only Jesus will save you. That's it. Can discipline in Jesus maybe? I mean, it's part of the recipe. It would be like saying, is it a blueberry muffin if you only put the blueberries on the table?
Or no blueberries in it at all.
It's part of it. There are a lot of it, which they will burn in hell, in a hotter hell, and that's another discussion. But there's a lot of people right now that are false prophets and false teachers, and so is it again just discipline? No, it's part of the whole recipe. So Jesus can save you, but you also have to do the work. And that work comes if, let's say, that you get anything from this podcast and you think, well, this is overwhelming, there's a lot of information. Think of it this way: one action that you can take today, right now, take a piece of paper and try to note down what is that non negotiable. It's going to be something that you really enjoy doing. That if I gave you 24 hours, it doesn't matter, rain or shine, you're going to do it. If For me, it's about fitness. That's it. but for other people, it's going to be dancing, or find that non-negotiable, build that discipline, trickles down to other parts of your life. But definitely Jesus saves, because it's about creating a system of values before reaching any type of goal. Because you can you can try to become a doctor, you can try to outperform me at every single race. That's also fine. But if you have your system of value rooted and you're serious about it, then it's not going to be tied to outcome. Your failures are going to be tied to your growth. And so that's why I say that it's not necessarily about the discipline, it's part of the recipe, but only Jesus can save, because he has the values and the system and the structure, which again comes from the beginning of our conversation about the military. The military did not give me discipline. The military gave me the structure. Jesus gives the structure. That's what it is. But what happened is that people are lazy. They read their Bible the first day, and then the second day they say, well, maybe later, or then they get lazy, and then laziness just picks up. Or they say, well, I'm gonna listen to it, or ChatGPT is gonna tell me about the Bible, and I'm going to cross-correlate it with an AI. AI is designed as a tool. AI it's a great tool, phenomenal tool. I use it daily. But again, if you're not following that structure, the system of values of Jesus Christ, then AI can turn you upside down as a Christian, completely upside down, and turn you as a false prophet like this. Why? Because you're not listening to the Bible, you're listening, which is the structure. What you're doing is you're having a discipline of AI, and you're living a disciplined life with unhealthy behaviors. So that's another part too, is that I'll finish with that. Discipline can also be unhealthy. There are people that are, let's say, there are there are discipline that are unhealthy. For example, smoking. People are disciplined in smoking.
Oh,
Is it unhealthy?
that's a great analogy. They
Right?
have their systems, they have their structure.
Exactly. They have their
And
system.
it's their non-negotiable, and JD, and it's their non-negotiable. But
Well,
it's an
is
unhealthy
it
but it's
healthy?
unhealthy.
No. It's unhealthy, and it's not their non-negotiable. I can tell you right now, it's not their non-negotiable.
I
It's their
mean,
discipline.
they
They
think it's
became, yes,
they think it's their
exactly.
not, yeah.
And that's why at the same time now it's unhealthy discipline, and then there is healthy discipline. So what is that healthy discipline that you are seeking? And that healthy discipline is, again, what are you doing with the body that God gave you? If we look at
That's
smoke,
such a
well,
powerful.
it's not because there was smoke in the temple that necessarily you have to smoke.
It's so
We
interesting
are
because
called,
I always say live your best life from the inside out. The reason I say that is because most people, I don't think, understand what's going on physiologically inside their body. We only have one body. And I've had people in here make the analogy like people take better care of their cars than they do, than their bodies. We got one
yeah,
body. Take care of it.
which again, they don't want
Nurture
to
it.
be successful. They don't want to be successful because the pillar, one of the first pillar is, and that's what we use Epic as our pillars. One is your eternal restoration, which is E, and then P is the second one, which is physical temple. We are called to be the temple of the Holy Spirit. So what are you doing with that temple? Physically, mentally. So that non-negotiable, that's what someone can do. What they did, like you said, is they picked that non-negotiable, which is smoking. We're going to take that as an arbitrary example. And then they said, this is my non-negotiable. I have to do this. I am disciplined for this. Is it unhealthy? Well, is it hurting everybody else around them? There's a high chance that it is. Okay. There's a high chance that it is. Why? Because, well, when you smoke and there's kids, there's secondhand smoke, there is also third hand smoke. And so you also have to look at what is healthy, right? In those behaviors, do you have self-control over it? So that it becomes a bigger plan. But What is that non-negotiable? That would be the first action that people can take today. That non-negotiable is going to be tied to something that God created you to be. And if it is to be a person that is over smoking, over drinking, overeating, over even overdoing in an ultra endurance event, which again seems like a wonderful achievement. But I've seen a lot of people overachieving in these types of events to a point where they're hurting themselves. They're destroying their body. They're hurting everybody else around them. So pick your non-negotiable, and then pick your values.
I just want to make one quick point. In your book, you mentioned this, and I think you just hit on it too, as balance between the rest and the work, the hard work and the rest and recovery. Is that a huge aspect to your success, that you understand that balance?
Yeah, because I really thought that performing at a high level was all about outrunning everybody or having this Mamba mentality where you are outshining everybody and you are at 4 a.m. I wake up, I go and I work out and I work harder than the other person. And that's what a lot of motivational speaker will tell you. But if you're not able to rest properly, you're not able to regulate your energy adequately, then you will fail to a point where you will be a failure instead of just having failures. You will be a failure, definitely. Because you're you're exerting yourself to a point where you are breaking everybody around and yourself. And then taking that time for yourself is necessary. God took a day off. Did he really need to do that? No, he didn't. However, the reason why he did it on the seventh day that he rested is because he wanted to show us how to live. So, the fourth commandment being that you shall obey the Shabbat is necessary for everybody to take a day's rest. And that's where it becomes a bit more of another conversation because people are saying, well, I wasn't able to, my house burned down because I was not able to turn off my oven, which seems like a joke, but in Jewish community, that's what happens. Like you go to fires in Jewish communities, and then the people look at you and they say, it's the Shabbat. So we cannot even turn off the oven. But just like so you have to also use common sense in that idea that you have to take a rest. Definitely everybody does. It's not because you are this overperforming individual that you are immune to rest. There are ways to do so, and that's another discussion.
I was raised Jewish, and I understand what you're saying about that example you
Yeah.
just gave, because
Oh, really? Okay.
it's it's rest is important, but it has, you have to understand, like, I don't know. It's just there's a balance. Everything, I think, in that example is kind of a balance. Like I understand
Yeah.
you can't work on the Shabbos, but leaving your oven on, sets yourself up for some type of
Yeah, it's because
potential
people
emergency or disaster.
mistaken.
So I understand that.
Yeah, because people mistaken balance versus equality. So
Mhm.
when everything is equal, meaning 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, and then
Mhm.
8 hours of I don't know fun time, and then you get 24 hours, so you're all good. Or then you split it maybe into 6 hour term, and then now you have four. This would be equal, but you have to understand that it's about balance. So there is a time for overperforming, overachieving, And then there is a time for rest. So if you're able to understand that at the moment, and then you can make it custom, then if you understand that rest is important, then you're gonna outperform everybody else, because a lot of people, uh, they are trying to do more, but the person who will be successful is not the person who will do more, is the person who will provide the best quality, not the best quantity. Because again, AI can give you the quantity. I say one word to this AI or all of them, and it prints me uh, pages of reports and documents, and I just said one word. So AI is able to do the content, is able to do the quantity. It's about the quality, and the quality and the creativity, we get it from rest out of all of those hormones. And so that's very valuable for everybody.
That's incredible what you just said. That's it happens all the time on my show. It just has to sit.
Yeah, you have
I'm
some
like,
great
I just
guests.
want to be like, yes, 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 amen, yes. Okay, one last thing, and I know I've taken up a lot of your time. This has been really life changing for me. I saw on your social, and if you want to give your social media, Instagram, where were you? You were swimming in some like Arctic man-made little lap lane somewhere in the world. What was that? I was like, where is he? What is he doing?
Yeah, so
Looks
I am the
amazing.
vice president of the International Ice Association, or Swimming Association in Canada, so ISA.
Okay.
And it is a sport that at the moment is not recognized to be in the Olympics, but I understand that the head of the organization wants to develop it to be an Olympic sport. And there are different distances where you swim in waters that is 5 degree or less, which is not too sure about Fahrenheit. Would that be close to maybe 60?
It's cold.
Maybe
It's very cold.
very cold. Yeah, yeah, we're talking about 5 degrees Celsius and or less, to swim certain distances that are prearranged, and that's what I do. I enjoy doing
I,
it.
I was just gonna say you look very happy doing it.
Yeah, yeah. There is yeah, there is a rush that you get of dopamine, definitely, because again, it's part of survival mechanism
Yeah.
versus the thriving part. So when you understand how to regulate your system, you're able to be more successful in other areas versus other people that are just reacting to any type of stimuli that is coming
Mhm.
their way. That's what we are as a being. We are conditioned to think this way in terms of survival. But when you shift to the other parts where now you are not just surviving, you are thriving, that's a state of mind where going over to indulge into food that is not conducive to your growth, you will lose the desire for it, or you will indulge in it. Like, there are some times I finished that race, I came back, and I had the most disgusting burger I've ever had in
I
my life.
saw it. I saw it. I even
Yeah.
comment. I was like, what
Oh, no,
is
no, no, not
that?
that one. That
Do
one
you
was
remember?
good. No,
I was
that
like,
one
what
was
is
good.
that?
That one was good. Yeah,
It was like
yeah. It's tasty. Yeah, it was tasty. But again, I have a healthy relationship with food, and that's
balance.
just, again, other parts of your life become more
Yeah.
disciplined. So I just, yeah, I said, I understand this burger is disgusting. In terms of health, this is not healthy, but I will eat it. Why? Because I am not training for anything at the moment. I am okay with returning back to a different diet, and then it's making those conscious decision based on what I want, not necessarily what I am forced to have.
And you enjoyed it?
I did. It was just, it was the worst
You
burger
wouldn't
I've
eat
ever
it. Yeah.
had. It's at that Popeye shop right there. I had it 2 days ago. I can claim it. It's the worst burger. It was horrible. Everything was horrible about it. I just wanted it because it was at the Popeye shop. That's it. Right? So I said, oh, okay.
Hey, JD.
Frozen patties. Oh, disgusting. But I said, you know what? I'm at the Popeye shop. I want to have it. Why? That's it.
Have it.
I just want to have it. That's it.
Let me just real quick. Where are you? You such interesting surroundings.
Yeah, I'm on the island of Malta, which is where Paul was bitten by a snake, and then what he was shipwrecked. And during the shipwreck, was bitten by a snake in front of locals, and there were back then, not anymore, venomous snake on the island. The locals saw that he was not having any type of illness from this venomous snake. And so everybody converted to Christianity as a result of him not having any illness from a bite of this reptile. Yeah.
Interesting.
So now they're trying to rewrite all of the history. I've gone to a lot of museums, and a lot of museums in the recent years are trying to rewrite all of the Christian history that is so it's quite sad to see, but again, we have to correlate it with what the Bible's saying and then leave it as that. That's it. So, yeah.
JD, thank you for bringing your voice to the PhD Journey Unplugged podcast. I'm really grateful for your time, and I know that my audience is grateful for it. And I don't know what else to say. I wish you all the best. You know, I had Kurt Madden on the show. I wish I could remember the episode off the top of my head, but he was talking about impact players in the world. I mean, you're definitely an impact person. You're making real change in the world, and I'm honored and grateful to have had you on the show today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Like I said, we can see the difference between people that want to succeed and the people that are not. And those are the people that will do everything that it takes just to make sure that they reach that next level. And I'm glad that you're one of them. So
Thank you.
glad to,
Thank you,
yeah,
JD.
glad to have
Okay.
met you. Yeah.
Me too. And here we go. Ready? I don't even know if this is the right word. Au revoir.
Merci, Sarah. Bonne journée.
All right, everybody. There you have it. Go out and get his book. Learn more. You can reach out to him at hungrywarrioracademy.com. Your Instagram contact is what is your is it J? Go ahead and spell it for everybody, I guess. So if they want to follow you.
Oh, for the Instagram,
Yeah.
well, they can follow Hungry Warrior Academy.
Okay, I know it's one of them.
Yep. And then we also have JD Tremblay Try. And then, but if they want to reach out to our team, then it would be either through LinkedIn or through our website.
Okay. And you know, there's been little birds chirping in the background, I think. I hear little birds. It's like, it's so great. Every once in a while, I hear this little JD wisdom, and I hear a little.
Yeah, I think they're saying, yeah, they're enjoying it.
Just say, go out, enjoy the day. All right, everybody. JD, wait one sec. I'm just going to sign off. Thank you so much for tuning in to the PhD Journey Unplugged podcast. And this podcast episode will launch by tonight or tomorrow early morning. All right. Have a great day, everybody. God bless.